All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're back with our data visualization using Seaborn series on Python. And today we're going to be looking at how to plot simple scatter plots and something known as rug plots. And I'll tell you how these are important as we go along the video. If you've missed any of my previous videos in the Seaborn series, click on the link above here or in the description and it'll take you to all the videos so far in the Seaborn playlist. So today to write our code, I'm going to be using Google Colab. You can use a Jupyter notebook on your system. You can use Colab or any other IDE to write your Python code. All right, so let's get started. So first and foremost, we got to import libraries that we need. So here we're going to import two libraries, matplotlib and Seaborn, because we're going to be using these for various things in our code. All right. So let's write import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt and import Seaborn as SNS. And we run that. So if this is the first video you're watching, please note that the as keyword is used to give an alias to the library name. So you don't have to keep typing long library names again and again to reference your functions or to use your functions. Directly use the alias to do that. Now, right, so for this particular illustration, we're going to be using the Titanic data set. So let's go ahead and just import that in as well, right? Let me just close that. Let's say SNS dot load dataset, and we load the Titanic dataset in. And let's store this in a data frame or in a variable called Titanic, right? I'm going to put down a comment here saying loading the required data. Let's go ahead and run that. Now, comments are very important in your code because it allows people who are reading the code to know what's going on, what's happening in the code, and please make sure you put those comments in, right? Now, just to make sure our data set is loaded in, let's go ahead and very quickly print the top 5 rows so we know we've loaded in the right data set. All right, so there we go. We've gotten our data set. Seems to be okay. No issues there. Now, the next thing is to plot our scatter plots and rug plots, right? But before we do that, if you don't know what a scatter plot is and a rug plot is, a scatter plot is primarily used to show distribution between two numerical variables or two continuous variables. That's the primary use. It can have other uses. It is also used to see, how two variables or how two features of the data are correlated with each other, right? Is there any sort of relationship? Is one inversely related to the other? Is one directly related to the other? Scatter plots are widely used there. But sometimes when you plot a scatter plot, you could have a lot of data points sitting you know, together. They could be behind one another, you would not know. They could be too close to each other, so you don't properly see the distribution, or you can't properly visualize the distribution because it's hard to see. So a rug plot plays an important role there. A rug plot allows you to visualize the scatter plot as sticks on the x and y axis, meaning small lines. And this distribution allows you to understand the concentration of different points in the scatter plot. And through this example, we'll see that. You'll understand why it's so important to have rug plots along with your scatter plot. All right. So let's go ahead and first write our code to create a scatter plot. All right. So to create a scatter plot, we'll use the function called scatterplot. So we'll say sns dot scatterplot. We need the x-axis, the y-axis, and any other parameters as part of the scatterplot that we wish to plot. So today we're going to take two numerical variables that we have in the data. One is age that we're going to put on the x-axis. The other one is fair that we're going to put on the y-axis. And we also want to see the distribution by gender, meaning is the fair high or low based on the different genders that we have, or is it all kind of equal? To do that, we use a a parameter called hue, right? Hue distributes your data into different colors based on the number of categories you have in that feature. So we're going to put the hue as sex, that is primarily the feature we have for gender. And we're going to say all this comes from the Titanic variable, right? Or the data frame. So we're going to say data is equal to Titanic. Now, if you need any other parameters to make the scatter plot more aesthetic, we can go ahead and add those in as well. For example, edge color, right? This is to basically give a border around each of the dots in the scatter plot. You can also define the size of the dot. So let's say I want it to be 10. So all these allow you to provide more information regarding the scatter plot. Now let's go ahead and run it. What do we see? We see a simple scatter plot with age on the x-axis, fair on the y-axis, and we see the distribution by gender here, male and female, male in the blue color, female in the orange color. So now you can see the distribution here, right? And you see how messy the distribution is in terms of overlaps, in terms of being able to read the distribution very effectively. That's where a rug plot comes into play, right? So let's go ahead and try to plot that here as well. So we're going to say very simply creating a rug plot or create a rug plot, sns dot rug plot. Quite easy to remember the functions because they literally go by the name of the plot. And we'll put down the same parameters here as well. So we say x is age, y is fair, hue is sex or gender, data is dynamic, right? Straightforward and simple. Let's go run that and see the difference that it makes to the scatter plot. So what does the rug plot do? As you see on both the x and y axis, it's given you something called a marginal distribution. All right. What does a marginal distribution mean? It's a distribution that primarily allows you to visualize the concentration of different points on the scatter plot at that particular instance. So for example, if you see here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more so you're able to see. This area, as you see, is primarily blue in color, meaning belonging to the male gender. Hence, you see there's a concentration of blue here on the rug plot. Now, wherever there is an orange dominance, meaning a gender dominance of female in the plot, you'll see it's more orange. If there is an overlap, you'll see it's a mixed color, meaning you'll have both blue and orange on the same tick. So tick is basically each one of these instances or points on the rug plot. It's called a tick. All right. So same thing happens on the y-axis as well. It gives you a distribution and understanding of where is the concentration of the data points plotted. I hope now you understand why it's important to plot a rug plot along with a scatter plot. Now, if you only have a few data points, then this may not be important for you. But if you have a lot of data points and you're trying to understand how the distribution is, a rug plot can help you out very effectively there. Now, feel free to add things like a title to the plot. So you can say plt.title. Title can be scatter and rug plot for age versus fair. that gives you a title. Um, you can add, your x-axis labels, y-axis labels. You can look at my previous videos to know how that's done. And all this adds to the aesthetics of the plot. All right. So quickly revising what we've done in this video, we imported our Titanic dataset in a variable called Titanic. And the primary motive of the video was to understand why a rug plot is important to visualize along with a scatter plot. So we went in and plotted a scatter plot, saw that this distribution was a bit messy, overlaps in the various data points. Then we went ahead and plotted a rug plot and saw its importance and understood why this distribution gives us more information about how the data points are spread out. All right. So hope you understood that, and I definitely hope you'll use it when you are plotting your charts and you are visualizing relationships in your data or just want to understand the distribution. If you think this was useful for you, please do like this video. Please share it with anyone who's using Seaborn and Python to visualize their charts, and do subscribe to my channel to stay updated on the latest videos in the Python series and in tech in general. All right. Try it out. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have anything else that you'd want me to do in Seaborn or in Python, do let me know and I'll create a tutorial for you on that. Till then, stay safe and I'll see you in the next video.